Hello and welcome to another episode of Live Purl Perspectives. Pew 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 pew.
Pew, 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 pew.
I'm Anai.
I'm Allie. And I'm Diane.
Bilbo is over there off camera, supervising the entire affair.
As he should.
And as always, we are your three friends from Canada coming to you live in the middle of winter to talk about what we're making, what we want to be making, what's inspiring us in the knitting and crochet community and any other fiber-related craft that we're doing at the moment. And just, you know, as they say, shoot the shit.
Mm-hmm. The best way to do it.
Yeah. We're having kind of like a dreary, wet day here.
Yeah, it's cold.
It's
it's
cold-ish, but it's like one of those humid cold that just gets to you.
And all I want to do when the day is like this is stay home. I feel like it's also Sunday, so like all the tiredness from the week is kind of really hitting me hard today. And the Monday scaries are starting to set in.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So all I want to do on a day like this is stay home, have my cup of coffee, my knitting, and just do absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about you, but I've been feeling like that is the best I can do for myself.
And I just want to take a second and say I completely understand how stressed you are, because Annie knit the last inch on this for me when she forgot a project, and holy shit, is it tight?
I am so sorry.
She's so stressed.
Well, she is.
I'm
no, wait.
sorry.
I need to give you a hug, babe.
I'm
Like,
okay.
wow.
Wait, I thought you were the tight knitter.
Yeah, I thought so too. Feel that. Feel that top row. Like, I can barely drag it along the needles.
I was overcompensating because I knew that I knit quite loosely, so
Oh, that's what it was.
I did this like intentionally tight, but I think I overdid it.
That's okay. It's just a hat. It'll block out.
You're like, I'm gonna knit too loose.
So
and then you did the
I'm
opposite.
so sorry. You're struggling with that.
We at midnight, not this past week, the week before, you got on the train and you're like, I don't have a project, and I was so indecisive. I had 2 in my bag, and I was like, that doesn't matter. I have an extra hat.
That hadn't happened to me in a really long time, but I was having I was late and I was having a really like off day or something, and it was Thursday, which is our knit night. Yep. So I'm leaving the house. I come in, I feed Bilbo, walk him. I still have my boots on, and I put my bag with my project at the door so I wouldn't forget it. And then I still forgot it.
It's okay.
And I walked all the way to the train
do
station, got on the train on the light rail to get downtown, and like a couple stations in, I was like, well, crap. The one thing I had to bring, I didn't bring it with me. So I was on my way to knit night with no project.
You know what? I a few people have done this, and I think of all the places for you to forget a knitting project, that is the best one, because there's always a person who's like, oh, it's okay, I got 3. Or I need to weave ends. Or I need to... Or
I need
you
help me ball up this yarn.
Yeah,
something.
Or this
frog
yarn,
this yarn.
or this yarn barf that I need to take care of. The point is, there's always something to do.
Yeah. So I wasn't worried, but I felt like I needed to just like straight up dive into the pond like the silly goose that I am. But thankfully, Allie had another project,
Muscle
which is
bra.
I'm also making a muscle bra. Hey yo!
I am not. I'm making a sleeve.
Hey, that's how like brain zombie we all are, is that it's stockinette only today. No headspace for anything a little bit more complicated than that, you know?
And we have Anvita and Lexi in the chat, so tell us what you guys are making. Is it also a hat? Is it also a sweater?
Or socks?
Or socks?
Or something
mittens?
else?
Or a blanket?
Yeah.
For the...
Could be anything. Could be anything. Okay, so I went through right before the holidays when I was preparing to go visit my sister. I was like, okay, let me go through all my projects and see which ones I should take with me. And it was like bag, 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 bag. And like everything was in all over states of completion. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be able to finish. I said last time we were here, I was like, I'm going to get so much knitting done. Lies and deception. This is never the case at the holidays.
Slander.
Same thing happened to me.
But I had this grand thought that I would get so many whips done before the holiday, and then in January I'd be able to cast on whatever I wanted. And while, yes, I'm an adult, I can cast on whatever I want whenever I want, I didn't like the idea of coming into the new year with so many whips. So I'm like really kind of trying to knuckle down this month to get, if not things done, at least like a couple of things like really far progressed.
Yeah.
If anything,
I'd like to finish something.
If anything, just to free up a few project bags.
Yeah. And needles.
That's the thing. The same thing happened to me when I went to see the visit family. I had 4 projects in my bag, and I was like, okay, if I can finish 2, I'll be happy. Yeah. I literally, for 13 days, I knit half a sleeve.
That was it. That was it.
And I tried, like, I was like, what? Then I realized that I was just too engrossed in like reading and like spending time with people and like doing activities. But yeah, I did not knit a lot.
Lexi working on the Snowdrop Kerchief by TL Yarn. I love Tony from TL Yarn Crafts.
Amazing.
Yeah, she's so great. Making it out of merino from Stash. Yay!
Nice! From Stash. That's awesome.
Making room for more treasures in your treasure trove.
Exactly.
Yep. I love that.
Yep. It is
I haven't seen the Snowdrop Kerchief.
Oh, I'm gonna look it up.
Thank you. I'm interested. I'm intrigued. And Anvita's making a shawl. Love that. You're amongst shawl makers. We're also shawl makers. I say I'm a shawl maker. However, I do have 2 unfinished Stephen West shawls.
So do I. I think they're the same ones.
I actually really do want to finish them because I want to wear them. But you know what? They lost excitement because the mystery make-along ended, and I wasn't nearly halfway through with them. And then a year went by and the excitement rubbed off. And so I haven't picked them up again. But much like you, Ali, I'm hoping that 2025 is the year where we get rid of some whips.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
difficult when that like
God, I cannot
that initial like passion for the project or passion for what you like for that new like the novelty of the project.
The novelty.
When it passes and you're just like looking at it and like because that's what happened with my muscle bra.
Yeah.
I was like this is and then I'm looking at it, I'm like I gotta finish this one day. Like the novelty of it just disappeared.
Oh my gosh! Excuse me.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not,
you know,
and it's hard to get back into it sometimes.
You know, there's a very neurodivergent thing that is a big part of my experience as a neurodivergent person, is that when there's novelty in an activity, I am way more likely to do it.
Yep.
Whereas if it's something I already know about or that I've been doing for a while, I'm way less likely to pick it up.
Same. Yeah, 100%.
And the same with work. I ask at work to be given different projects because if it is the same, I'm gonna procrastinate until it's no longer relevant.
Exactly, and that's a problem.
And that is a problem. But I know myself, and I know that motivation is hard. This is why I get my serotonin from the store.
Precisely, more precisely, the yarn store.
Wow.
That's right.
You woke up and chose violence this morning?
Seriously. No, but speaking
but it's true because it's the same for me. Or a bookstore. Either way.
Yep.
And it'll soon be optional serotonin for one of our viewers because today is the day that we'll reveal the winner of the giveaway from the last episode.
True.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Pew, 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 pew.
I finished that sentence just at the last stitch of my row, so I went. We want to know who's the winner.
I'm still looking for this. Okay, I'm so brain dead. My normal like Ravelry search engine skills are like being blah blah. So I'm scooting over to Instagram to see if I can find the kerchief.
Let's do the giveaway first.
Let's do the giveaway first.
Because, as you remember, we were so excited 3 weeks ago because it was the end of 2024 and our little podcast that we do from the couch with my phone as a camera because we don't have a camera
yet. Maybe one day.
Has been going really well. We've been feeling motivated. We feel like we're getting better every time we go live again.
And we're like 10 days from our first anniversary.
Yes.
We're very close to our first anniversary. And I know it might seem small potatoes for a lot of people on YouTube, but we got over 100 subscribers, and
So we're like super excited about that.
I know it's a really small amount in the grand scheme of things and on the internet, but for us, I can't imagine 100 people looking at me.
Hey, your first 100,
many people.
You don't forget them.
Y'all the real
So
MVPs.
we're just very excited and very thankful to have, you know, the privilege and the means to be able to stand in front of a camera and just talk about ourselves.
Yeah.
It's so weird, but also very rewarding. So we wanted to give back a little bit to the community and our friends at Wabi Sabi, our local yarn store where I get my serotonin back. We're super gracious to give us a $50 voucher. They call it Knitcoin.
Love it.
Judy, that's so smart.
That is
Oh my
awesome.
gosh.
Hilarious.
So good.
So one of y'all will be winning a $50 gift card to Wabi Sabi.
$50 knit, 50 knit coins.
50
knit coins.
50 knit coin. To get whatever you want from the yarn.
So I've loaded
store.
up a YouTube comments generator picker tool thingy. So hopefully, I haven't tried it, so I'm assuming this is going to work. If I click the start button,
Ooh.
is it working? No.
Start again.
Maybe it's a different button?
My gal, I don't
We
think
needed
that's
to have
working.
one
Ruh-roh.
technical difficulty today.
Wait,
Oh, maybe it's...
no, but I had everything filled in.
I don't know.
Filter comments, Bilbo, number of winners, 1. Get
Stand
YouTube
by. We've
comments?
never done this before.
Amount of I had to get the YouTube comments, and now I think I can start the raffle. And the winner is Lexi. Who said with their comment, I'll pull it up right now so we can read it. I'm currently working on the classical attitude shawl from Hobby. Hobby. Week 3 of the Hobby and TL Yarn Crafts Crochet Advent Calendar, and Tony is a stunning designer. And a Summer Berries embroidery pattern by DMC as a Christmas present for the in-laws. I don't normally work on this much at once, but I can't not crochet, and the embroidery was taking too long. I know the feel.
Yay!
Congratulations, Lexi.
So, congratulations! You are the winner of 50 knit coins from Wabi Sabi. You can use it for any other of their products, whether it be yarn, classes, notions, digital projects,
books.
patterns,
They've got some good
Yes,
books.
they do. They have good books.
Whatever you want to get from Wabi Sabi.
Yep.
So we're gonna answer your comment with an email for you to send us your information so we can prepare the gift card for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just
Congratulations!
Just shoot us an email, and then we will make sure to respond back with the gift card.
Love you too, Lexi. This feels really fitting.
That does.
It feels really nice.
Yeah, it's good. It's
Thank
a good
you,
flow.
everyone, for participating. I think it's the best, the first time we've ever done a giveaway at all.
Ever.
Yeah.
But hopefully not the last.
Hopefully not the last.
I really hope that one day we can be at the level of, like, not celebrity, because that's not the right word, but, like, I keep thinking of the Grocery Girls. I don't know if any of you watch that podcast, or either of you.
Yeah.
Jody and Tracy.
Jody and Tracy are 2 sisters based in Alberta, and they have been podcasting in a similar kind of dynamic to us, where it's like literally just chatting. We go live, respond to people in the comments, and they've been doing it for like 7 or 8 years.
Oh, yeah.
And they are now at the point where they are very lucky to receive a lot of like yarn mail from dyers, designers, and whatever, and they turn that around and they gift that back to the community all the time. And I really hope that one day we can get to the level where
We
can,
will.
like every episode maybe
Visualize.
manifest.
It's happening.
So
it's happening.
if that takes us 8 years, well, that's fine. We'll put in our due
That's
diligence.
okay.
We'll
We're
get it done,
already done with the first year almost. So
1 year down.
7 to go.
Lexi, I'm so surprised I can't count now. Honestly, I tell this to my first level students all the time. If you crochet, will really challenge you to count. Like you think you know how to count to 20, turns out you don't. I'm sorry, that's just what the fiber crafts do to you. It really it really challenges your
Oh
kindergarten.
my gosh. You want to hear a funny story about
Your math
counting?
skills.
You want to hear a funny story about counting and knitting?
Yeah.
So in October, I went to a family reunion with my dad's side of the family. And I was sitting on the train with my cousin and knitting. And I was like, yeah, it's going to be great. Like, I'm going to get so much knitting done over the weekend, blah, blah, blah. I didn't get that much knitting done over the weekend. But she was like, oh, do you think you can, like, finish this, whatever you're working on? I think it was a sock. By the time we come back. And I was like, totally. Because I was on the toe of the first one. And I was like, oh, I'll totally be able to finish the second sock. Or at least get, like, a chunk of it done. Well, like, 2 days later, I'm sitting in the living room at my aunt's house, and I'm, like, counting stitches for the heel, and I had to count, like, 4 times. And my cousin Paul is, like, watching me struggle, and he's like, wasn't your grandfather a professor of mathematics?
How dare you, sir?
How dare you?
And I was like, shut up, Paul, it's fine.
No, but it's
how to count. You don't know my life.
It's almost
I'm like, I could not even count to 18. I'm, like, keep having to go back because I was doing the heel turn.
But you
and
know
he's
what?
Like, at, like, the university level, right? He taught mathematics at the university level. And I'm like, shut up, Paul. You don't know what I'm talking about.
I think it's the same feeling as when you're trying to read something, whether it's for work or even whatever, and you're not concentrating and you read it, like, you're trying to read the same sentence, like,
Over
5 times, and you're like,
over and
like,
over
3
again.
words in, you're like, I don't know what I'm reading. And you're like, it doesn't matter how many
What are
times.
sounds?
Like, it's, words. What are words? What are sounds? What's happening? It's like, sometimes you're just not there.
Sometimes it just be like that.
But it's also, I feel like with counting stitches, especially if it's the same color, like, I tend to just, like, I have to physically move the stitch.
Me too. I touch the stitch.
I touch them, because if I don't touch them, they just blend in. And then I just, like, don't know where I am.
You know who taught me to count again?
Was it the count?
Norman from Nimble Needles. I don't know if you guys follow Nimble Needles on YouTube.
Not yet.
Not yet.
So Norman is, I think he's Dutch. I'm not exactly sure. So he has a lot of, like, technical tutorials for, like,
Love that.
tips and tricks.
Yeah.
And I watched one just because I had nothing else to do, and he was like, I'm going to show you how to count. And I'm like, sir, I know how to count, okay?
Famous
And he's
last
like,
words.
no, you don't.
It turns out I didn't. So what he has you do is count in 5s. Count your stitches in 5s by counting 3, 2, 3, 5. 3, 2, 3, 10. 3, 2, 3, 20. You know what I mean?
Oh.
So
I'm very confused right now.
So you count 3 stitches and then 2.
Okay.
And then 3 stitches and
10.
then that's 10.
Okay.
3, 5,
I
3,
just do
10.
2.
3, 5, 3, 20.
Okay. I do 2. I do by...
2, 4, 6, 8.
Yeah, that's what I do.
However, you have to do 5 times per 10, and this does 4 times.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's actually faster, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Anyway,
Interesting.
I've been counting like that for a few months, and I have to say, it works. I don't know what it is, but, like, for stitches, it just works better, especially teeny tiny stitches, because it's almost the exact length of my fingernail.
Yeah.
So I can just, like, inchworm my way down, and I'm
Yeah,
touching
and you
them
can, like,
and counting
visually
at the
see
same time.
3 without having to, like, mentally count.
Yeah, I don't
Your
exactly.
brain can see 3 as a thing versus looking at 10 and being like, is it 10? Is it 9? Is it 11?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I can see 3 and I can see 2.
Okay.
I can only count to that many.
Yeah.
I encourage you to try it if you want to get a little better at counting. Counting 3, 5, 3, 10. And that'll make it go much faster.
I'm gonna have to try
Anyway,
that.
do you guys want a sad story?
Uh-oh.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, like, not to dampen your story about Paul, who
I love the guy. Actually, he's like the sweetest. He was just poking fun at me because I couldn't count to 18. It was fine. It's honestly, it's fine. It was fair. It was fair. We'd been up late the night before.
You don't know my life, Paul.
It's
it's difficult. No, I think you've seen me work on the pod on my colorwork hat.
Yes.
Yeah.
How's
Then
that going?
I finished it.
Yay!
It's too small.
Oh no.
But it's beautiful.
Aww.
Look at me,
like,
you can
too small
go.
and too short, or too small as in like.
No, my head
Circumference.
won't get in it. It's
Well, you know what? You have some nibblings.
It's a fess now.
Oh.
Can I try it?
You can try it.
Yeah, you have a small head.
I have a tiny head, so
It's toy.
It's kind of giving
It's
skull
tight.
cap.
It's
it's
toy.
tight. It's tight.
And this is
Yeah.
already steam locked.
Oh,
Oh God. Okay,
Well, one
so
of
yeah,
your
no,
nibblings
this
will
is
make
for
you
kids.
see
This
it,
is
I'm
like
sure.
child size.
Yeah.
So it's definitely gonna go to one of my nibblings.
It is very beautiful.
It is
It's so
incredibly
well done.
beautiful. I am so proud of myself for sticking to it.
This was the Shetland wool we cat, right?
It was.
'Kay.
Yeah, this is the Islesburg Tory. And
So-
I love it so much.
Did
color
you
combo's
knit it?
great.
Like, did you knit it in a specific?
Yeah.
Wait, 1 second, folks. Can you hear the computer, like, fan?
It's very.
I just want to know because we can move the mic if it's really annoying. I've never heard your computer do this before.
My computer seems to be warm and it's trying to fan itself.
It seems to be dying down now.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
if the sound isn't bothering, let us know if it's bothering you and we'll move the mic.
Okay.
Sorry.
Also,
Sorry
I'm
to
going to
interrupt.
lower the gain a little bit
Okay.
so that it won't pick up the ambient sound.
Beautiful.
Can't hear it. Okay, good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you knit it in the specific?
In the recommended colors, yeah.
No, not the colors. The size that you wanted,
Well,
or was it one size?
so listen, here's the thing. The pattern uses the same stitch count. The difference is, if you want a medium, you use 2.25
Oh.
needles. And if you want a large, you use 3mm needles. So I went into it, same as with your muscle bra, thinking I am a notoriously loose knitter and I need to compensate for that. But I didn't account for the fact that this is a new technique to me.
Right.
Not only that, it's also color work. That's always
You know
like,
what's funny?
tired.
And it's color work.
I did the same thing with this sweater.
Did you?
I did. I overcompensated as a tight knitter and knit extra loosely, which is why the armpits of the sweater are like down by my elbows. Because the yoke is so much deeper than it's supposed to be because I overcompensated
love how we
with my
end
color
up-
work. We did the same thing.
We
Yeah.
always end up on opposite ends of the seesaw.
Should we just like swap things? Like I'll take the hat, you take the sweater. Like, my head's the same size as yours. I don't think it's gonna fit
I
me.
mean-
it would have
It's so
if it
cute,
if
though.
it
Still
had fit
really
anybody.
proud
it
of
would have
it. I already started another version. Would you pass me that bag?
I'll hold this one.
I already started another version of it, knitting at a much more relaxed gauge
With the
you
same
can
colors.
tell.
with
Oh,
the
wow.
same colors, and it's looking pretty good anyway.
I mean, hold it up to this one underneath. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, it's already.
And it's probably not as obvious on camera, but like just sitting here, just looking at the ribbing, like the size is so different.
It's different. Yeah.
It's incredible.
Oh,
So-
Allie, there's a request for you to talk about your sweater.
Oh yes, I will. Once we finish talking about the hats.
So let my experience be of use to you. Don't trust yourself. Trust yourself that if you're learning a new technique, you're gonna get it. You
Yeah.
don't have to overcompensate so hard for your past, I guess, habits. I did learn the technique. I did do it right, and if I had just followed my initial instinct, I would have gone for the 3mm to
Yeah.
begin with.
And don't
So,
worry
yeah.
if it comes out the wrong size when you're learning a new technique. Just have the thought in the back of your brain, just like you did.
Yeah.
Do you have anybody in your family who has a smaller head, smaller feet, who might be more broad in shoulder if the sweater unit's a little bit larger? Like, this is one of the great things about these accidental accidents is that
Accidental accident.
Accidental accident.
does that negate itself? I don't know. But it's that, like,
It's so
look,
small,
you just
it's
have
ridiculous.
another thing to add to your gift basket.
I'm still
Yeah.
pretty happy, and I will be
Yeah,
gifting
for
this
sure.
to one of my nibblings for sure. Or someone whose head is just ridiculously small as an adult. But I think I'll have better luck with a child.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I can imagine. I can already. I mean, I've never seen photos of your nibblings, so I actually can't imagine one of them wearing it. But like, I can imagine one of your nibblings wearing that. And
They
being
are
nice and
pretty
warm.
cute, I'll tell you that much.
So I mean, if they look like anything like you and Mike, then like they.
And they're
definitely do.
currently living in Belgium, so they'll
Lucky
blend
them.
right in.
Nice.
So your sweater
Yes.
also
So
has a sobby story.
sort of. So this was a sweater that I knit in. I can't remember if it was the end of, no, I think it was in 2020. It was during the first or second lockdown. So obviously, you know, your brain's all over the place with that. And I had never really done much color work before this. I had done it in like small projects, and I have another sweater that's like pixelated, so that was more like 1x1 scattered color work, but never in an actual proper pattern. This is the Hinterland sweater by Jennifer Steingass.
Hinterland?
Hinterland.
Mm-hmm.
She is incredible. Her designs are so beautiful. I really want to make some more now that I've like had time to get a little bit better at color work.
Yeah.
But I know that I'm a tight knitter, and actually this is something I was thinking about talking about earlier today. So I have this issue because I knit English. The way I hold the yarn and I tension it means that I end up with shorter stitches.
Well, that's normal for throwers,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
When
Totally
you're,
normal.
When you're throwing, your yarn doesn't go all the way around the needle.
Yeah.
And when you're picking, your yarn goes a little bit further past the circumference of the
Yeah.
needle. So picked stitches end up longer than thrown stitches.
Yeah.
That's just normal.
Yeah, totally normal. The thing is that me and my stubbornness does not want to learn how to knit continental to counteract
You don't have to.
that. So what I do is when I am doing color work, I either go up like 2 or 3 needle sizes, or I am just much more particular about knitting a bit looser.
Yeah.
Now, that's what I do now. When I knit this, I didn't do either of those things. I did not. I just like overcompensated by knitting extra exaggerated stitches and then like really sliding them down the needle to make the floats
Did you go up
extra
a needle
long.
size too?
I can't remember. It's all on my Ravelry page. So I can't remember if I did or didn't with the needle sizes. But I just remember overcompensating. And then afterwards, when I blocked it, it was comical. It's like kind of bounced back a little bit in the years since and like wearing it. But when I first made it, this is the armpit of the sweater. I can like take it up like quite a bit, like maybe about an inch. But when I first knit it, it was like literally at my elbow. Like it was a swan show. It was a swan show. It was
Which
kind
is
of
a
hilarious.
vibe.
Which is a vibe, yeah.
But it wasn't what I was going for because I wanted to be able to wear this under a jacket, and there's nothing more uncomfortable than like
Yes.
Bunched up
folded,
sleeve.
bunched
Yeah.
up fabric in the top of your
Yeah.
coat.
No, I get
because
it.
you know like your poncho is stuck in there. So I learned some lessons. I haven't really knit another color work yoke since, but I'll do another one at some point. But
I'm doing my
yes,
first
so-
right now.
there you
Your first
go.
what?
This one. It's the same style as this.
Yeah,
Different
with like
designer.
a color
Yeah.
work round.
Although
yoke.
it's because it's my first time, I have no idea how it's going to turn out. Like I do
Beautifully.
feel like it's going to be too small for me, or a little
Beautifully.
bit small for me.
Yeah.
Would you say that you're also a tight knitter?
No, I think it's more the fact that it's my first time doing this, and I really didn't know what size I should have,
Picked.
picked.
Yeah.
Because it's
There's-
I still think it's gonna fit. It's not gonna be the fit I want.
That's okay.
That's fine.
You can always, take it back and do some sweater surgery if you need to.
That's what I figured.
Like there's somebody I saw on Instagram. I'm completely blanking on who it was. Was it Sarah? Anyway, whatever. But I saw somebody on Instagram who knit a sweater and at the time was like, oh, I don't need to make any modifications. And then after they finished it, they were like, I should have put in bust darts. And I should have done this and I should have done
That's
that.
my
And then
next-
they did the surgery on the sweater and they went in and they like cut, places open and like inserted what they needed and took out what they needed and then grafted things closed.
Right.
And ended up with a garment that fit them so much better. And the content of their caption was basically like, when you're working on a thing, if you're unsure if you should or shouldn't modify it, try modifying it. Worst things that comes to worst, you just take it out and, undo that.
Yeah.
That's so
But it's
true.
easier to add the modifications in and then take them out than it is to finish a garment and then rip it back and then try to figure out what the
that's
modifications
true.
are.
So that's where, like, for me, I've very, very rarely modified a pattern, mostly because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm
Right.
still very uncomfortable modifying something. I'm still very much in that phase of just follow the instructions and shut up. So the only time I've modified something was literally picking was for actually my mother-in-law's sweater. I chose a size that was between two sizes. So I
Okay.
went for
You kind of hacked it a bit.
I kind of hacked it so that it was kind of like so I did some math for like the number of repeats and stitches and all
Yeah.
that stuff. But that's the one time
Yeah.
that I've done that. But
But
I've
it fit
never.
her so well.
Oh yeah, Linda looked great.
Oh yeah,
So
she was
amazing.
she wore it like 2-3 times while I was there. I was like, like this is when this is a person who's knit worthy.
Yep.
But
100%.
But that's
Yeah.
the only time. I've never really done that before. So I'm still very uncomfortable doing
So what are the modifications that you did
you mean for that
Linda sweater?
one? It was literally like the casting on, sorry, the number of cast on stitches.
Mm-hmm.
I went smack in the middle of this, I forgot which 2 sizes, let's say medium and large.
Yeah.
Like I went smack in between. So I went for the so I forgot what the numbers were, but if you're casting on 200 and 250, I went for 225.
Okay.
I just made sure
Yeah.
that it was
That the pattern
fit.
Yeah.
So like, because I think the pattern was a repeat of 24 stitches, 26 stitches. So I just made sure it was a, like I could.
It was still a multiple of 24.
Because I think one size had like, let's say 13 repeats. The other one had, let's say, maybe 16 repeats or 15 repeats. Then I did 14 or, you know what I mean?
I
So
understand.
right in the
so
middle.
it wasn't
Gotcha.
so much, like, there wasn't that much modification other than just, like, really just figuring out how to, like,
Yeah.
get one more
Yeah.
repeat in. And then that was it. That's
I'd call
pretty
that
much-
a modification.
Absolutely.
Well,
because
yeah.
you redid the math.
But, like,
That's
but, like,
straight up a redesign.
putting darts is, like, I've never done that.
There's a lot
I'm
of
sure it's,
patterns
like,
now.
really easy, but because I've never done it, I find it very intimidating.
There are
Well,
a
if
lot
you-
of patterns now that will have that modification in the pattern.
Yeah.
I just want to take a second and shout out Amy Scher.
Oh, yes.
This is a designer who is, like, it blows my mind with how thoughtful she is when she's designing her patterns. Because not only does she add things like bust darts or like shoulder shaping modifications or, things that like accommodate multiple different body types, but one of the things that I didn't realize at first, but then when she talked about it, I was like, oh my God, that's so unbelievably smart and thoughtful, is that she makes sure that when she takes pattern photos, she also takes images of herself wearing the pattern sitting down, so that people who use mobility aids like scooters or wheelchairs have an idea of how the garment
where it
falls on their
falls,
body
yeah.
when they're seated. And I was like, why can't we all do that?
Yeah,
why
exactly.
can we not all be thought? Amy also includes low vision and screen reader accessible versions of all of her patterns.
Incredible.
Honestly, anytime I've bought a pattern from her, it comes up to like almost $20 Canadian with the exchange, which is a lot for some people. And I believe she does have a price scaling model to make sure that the patterns are financially accessible. But I just love how much work she puts in, and that she also prices them accordingly, where she's like, look, I did all this and I value my time and I know what my labor is worth. And I don't know, I just want to shout her out because I think she's an incredible designer.
As a consumer, I am more than happy to invest in patterns that I know will give me more bang for my buck, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I compare that to, let's say, if I were to buy a piece of equipment for my kitchen that is going to do more than one thing and that I'm going to be able to use multiple times, it's the same for a pattern. Right? So, for example, one of my favorite patterns is the flax sweater by Tin Can Knits, because it's a really easy to follow pattern. They took the time to make schematics and drawings and explain things and why this is done the way that it is. It's a raglan sweater, by the way.
It's free as well, I believe.
It's free. It comes with optional back gusset if you are a chested person, or with waist decreases if you are a curvy person. And so the reason why I love it so much is because it is a pattern that I can come back to multiple times. It is in sizes from newborn to like 4XL. And so I can make that for any person that I wanted without having to buy a specifically child sweater pattern. And the basic principle of a raglan sweater, such as the flax, is that you can modify it or add designs and texture to it to your liking. So they include an optional like armband for you to add some detail there. If you don't want to, you don't have to include it. It's still gonna fit the same. If you want to replace it for lace or replace it for color work or do something else or change the colors of the cuffs, it's a multi-purpose pattern. And actually that one's free. But Tin Can Knits has patterns that are also range around the $16-$17, but they're not a one trick pony.
The majority of their patterns too, they not only release in baby to big sizing, but they'll release in multiple yarn weights.
B2B.
Right?
Yeah,
B2B. This is and again, this is a Rebecca Clow Stan account. She also does that as well, where she'll release a pattern where it's multiple yarn weights, and like her most recent pattern that came out, the Staffin, which just came out I think Thursday or Friday.
The vest,
it was a vest,
jacket, the
vest, cardigan, pullover. It had 3 different necklines. You know, there's short sleeve, there's long sleeve. Like, she designs the pattern to be like modular, and also she designs it to be like, I am releasing the Staffin set.
Yeah,
like, I don't want to say brand, but it's just like,
no, it's like,
it's that whole universe of what that sweater could possibly be.
It's kind of like when you get one of those sewing patterns, and the pattern shows you, like, let's say a
view A, view B,
t-shirt,
view B,
and then you have the long sleeve, short sleeve, cap sleeve, whatever version of it. So you can pretty much do whichever view you want from it.
Yeah, I find, this is me being nitpicky, but when a designer releases a pattern and they release the same pattern in a different yarn weight as a separate sale item, like, all the power to you. Like, if that's how you want to structure your store, you go ahead and do that. I'm just telling you, as a consumer, I'm less likely to buy it, any of them, versus when a pattern designer comes out and has multiple yarn weights or multiple views all rolled into one. I will pay more for that, even if I only ever make the pattern one time, because it's the future possibility of making it again.
100%.
It makes sense too if you think about sewing patterns, for example. They come with multiple views.
Yeah, exactly.
And they tell you, like, oh, these are different fabrics that you could use. So you could make a little capsule wardrobe out of one pattern, for example.
Pretty much.
And Lexi brings up a really good point, that is that advanced knitters forget how difficult it is to break into modifications when you're just beginning, because it's daunting and you don't really know how to go about it. So it's actually really, really important that designers include these modification modules in their patterns, because maybe if you're like really advanced and talented and skilled, you don't need instructions to modify your own sweater pattern to your liking or your measurements. But if you are just starting, or an intermediate knitter, those instructions will make a world of difference to you.
And even as advanced knitters, like, I've been knitting for 15 years, I would consider myself an advanced knitter. I'm always discovering new things to learn when it comes to pattern modification. Every single time I go to modify a pattern, I'm like, ooh, this is a new skill for me to learn.
And just the fact that somebody else has figured it out for you, instead of you having to, like, do the math and test and potentially frog. Like, I don't know how much extra work it is to add these modification modules, because I've never made one, but I definitely appreciate it, and I think a lot of people also appreciate 100%. Having these options. Like, there are things that are short, for example, like make the sleeves shorter or the body longer. But, you know, like, when it comes to fit, modifying is scary.
I still experiment every time I make a sweater. I read a blog, and I definitely have linked it in a previous episode where we talked about this, but I read a blog where it was all about shaping for the belly. Oh, and as a person who is very front-loaded with the body, let's just say.
It's like a washing machine.
Yeah, definitely. I'm like a washing machine. I swoosh back and forth when I walk. One of the things I want to try in the future when I make the next sweater that has, like, a large stockinette body is I want to do the modifications where I'm only making additions into the front of the garment and not into the back of the garment. Right? So that's one thing that I want to try. Is it going to work for my body? I don't know, but I'm going to try it and see what happens.
I found that with a ribbed tank top that I knit for a friend, where very efficiently the designer asks you to make increases evenly around the body. And then you, like, split for the sleeves exactly in the middle, and you go up to make a halter. And it turned out beautiful, but it didn't fit, because my friend had a flat back and a belly and huge bazongas. She's beautiful, by the way.
Love that for them.
But her lady lumps didn't fit in the front, and the back was sagging. So that made me think, like, oh, I should have I could have modified this. I could have casted on the number of stitches for one size before in the back and the number of stitches for the proper size in the front, so that when I make my increases, there's more fabric to accommodate her beautiful boobies.
Yeah.
She couldn't wear it in the end because it was just like not staying put. Because the back was too loose.
She's doing
and
the thing
front
where
was too
like the
tight.
shirt was sliding over, and she had like
and nobody wants to have like suddenly free titties. I mean, that's not
free the nipple.
Yeah, we're
I said
all
yeah,
the
but
power-
like
all the power
on your
to
own
ya.
terms, not because your shirt doesn't.
That's
fit.
what I mean. Free
Not
the
when you're
nipple
gonna
on your
get
own terms.
arrested for indecent exposure. Yeah.
Exactly. We don't want accidental nipples. Always on your terms.
Okay, let's
Consenting nipples?
Let's swing away from a topic that may or may not get a shadow banned on YouTube.
Consensual. The word is consensual nipple. We're so sorry.
Oh my God.
But that
Can you tell us January?
It's January.
Yes.
But that's kind of like, it's so true. Like, humans are not tubes.
No,
we're not
noodles.
noodles.
I mean,
we're not
noodle-ish.
noodles.
But we're not perfectly.
We're
not
lumpy
penne.
noodles.
We're not penne.
No. We're more like, I don't know. We're not pasta, is what I'm saying.
We could be if we
So,
wanted to, though.
You know,
pasta.
like there are bags that are, you know, curvier than others, but if you're making like a tube top or a sweater body, there's definitely going to be a need for you to accommodate more stitches in the front than in the back, quite possibly.
Yeah.
Unless you also have boobs on the back, in which case circular yokes will work perfect for you.
You know what I really want to try now that we're talking about it? Okay, so you know how you see sweaters sometimes where they'll do short rows right above the hem in the back, so you have a high-low?
Yes.
I want to do a low-high. I want to have more length in the front than in the back because of the way my body is shaped. I can turn sideways.
Because also if you look at your look at your waist,
so like I curve in at the back here,
right here,
but in the front, I'll just do
it's
this.
probably like a
I'm like
3-inch
this.
difference.
I'm like that, right?
Yeah.
So there's way more in the front than in the back.
Yeah.
So I'd like to experiment with doing short rows in the front.
This is also why
So I have
when
more
we
length
have
in the front, and then because my problem is in a lot of cases things like sit up
Right
here,
up.
and then they get like awkwardly pulled.
yeah.
Oh, I've got ideas now.
Yeah.
I've got ideas.
And that's a really good point because that's the same reason why pants end up riding up in the front.
Oh God, yeah.
And like sagging in the back of the waist because we're not accommodating for the dip in our lower back.
Yeah.
But that's really true.
But
And
that's-
sometimes length is the only thing you need. You don't really need more width.
No.
You need more length.
Or
Yeah.
less length in
Or
place.
less length.
That's why like I really want to get proficient at modifying not just knits but like any garment
Clothing,
I have so that like if they I know but like obviously this is years of work ahead of me, but I would very much like to be in a space where I can do something like that, where I can like find a piece of clothing that I really like, even whether it's in my own closet or while I'm shopping, I go like, I can make this my own. Like
Yeah,
I can
exactly.
make it fit better, because like we always look at celebrities and go like, oh, it fits so well on them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
that's
they
because
get
they have a
everything-
tailor.
they
That's
get
because
everything tailored.
Yeah, like they got somebody who did it for them.
Which
So,
I was
like-
watching sorry to interrupt, but on that topic, I was watching a video from a great creator on YouTube called Nicole Rudolph, who is a fashion historian. And she was telling the story of how like standardized sizing came to be. And what she started with is like before, like people just like got clothes made on their own measurement, so nothing was sized.
Well, everything was
Yeah.
made to measure.
And then with the introduction of department stores, what they would have were like semi-finished items. So semi-finished outerwear, dresses, corsets, jackets, pants, skirts, etc. So the customer would come into the department store, get measured, and then it would be like, all right, come in 3 hours and we'll have your item ready. And that was like instant in comparison.
Can we get back to that?
In
That would be
comparison
great.
to how it was
That
before.
would be great, though.
But like little by little, that customization needed was reduced and replaced by standardized sizing, which by
for
the way,
profit, I'm sure.
well, for profit and also for, you know, convenience, because
Yeah.
in the times of war, they needed to like reduce waste, so they couldn't have a lot of inventory.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, we lost the habit of shopping for clothes with the understanding that they are not made to fit our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We need to go back to shopping for something, and then before wearing it, tweaking it a little bit to
But, like,
really actually fit us.
Honestly, if I were...
And that's skills that we lost.
Yeah, because if I were to go to a store and actually have the possibility of buying a half-done garment that I can finish on my own or have somebody finish for me, I would 100% pay for that. Because then I know the garment is going to fit me better, and I know it's going to be good quality.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Much
I would
like
pay
a
more.
suit. If you go to a tailor
Yeah.
to a suit, like there's a place here called Jimmy Suits, and it's a man called Jimmy, and guess what? He sells suits.
Never would have guessed. Never
So
would have
Jimmy
guessed.
Suits. And actually any suit place ever, like tailors will have like the standardized sizing, but then you come in, they measure you, and then you pick up your items after the tailor has gone at them.
Yep.
Why can't everything be like that? Like,
Too
sure, I
much money.
I understand, but like I'm willing to pay.
You're willing to pay, but the producers are not willing to put that in because it slows down the output, or like the consumption of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, book recommendation: Simple Tailoring and Alterations by J. Francois Campbell.
Ooh.
Great. I'm gonna pick that up.
Yeah.
Another great resource is Make, Do, and Mend.
Yep, love that one.
That one's really good. If anything, just for, maintaining the items that you do have that fit you well. But in any case, modifying your knits is one of those like extra empowering skills that will help you make items that really do fit you and that make you feel good.
I think it's
it's funny. I think I've talked about this on the pod before. I know I've told you two the saga of the vest I knit for my sister.
Yes.
And how with the yarn choice that was made and the pattern that I used and like everything, I had to make major modifications in terms of sizing and like length and whatever because my sister's quite tall. And it was such a headache while I was doing it. But when I gave it to her in October and she put it on and the look on her face of like, this is the coolest thing ever, like all of that annoyance and frustration during the modification process, instantly worth it.
Yes.
Instantly worth it. So like, yeah, it might seem like a lot, time consuming, mentally, resource wise to do that. But when you end up with a garment that actually fits your body, I think that's worth it, especially as somebody who is not always confident in their body, especially being a conventionally like small fat person in society today. It is so nice to put on a garment that has been made to my measurements properly. I instantly feel confident wearing it.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
It really is about
And this is a hill we've stood on.
Love your
a lot.
meat sack, your flesh avatar. It's
Yes.
the only one you've got.
Yes.
So decorate it, my friends.
100%,
Decorate your
100%.
flesh avatars. Should we do a little bit of knitspiration?
Sure.
Okay, I hope you're ready for this. Karin, what's inspiring you this week?
It's kind of two parts, and one part is not really knit related. It's actually sewing related because I'm almost done with the skirt that I've been working on for I want to say 6 months now, and I'm so close to finishing. So that's like this morning I had a bit of a rush of energy, and I just hemmed all the bottom. So now I only have to put the buttons on. But it's like when I finish this, it'll be the first garment I can proudly wear outside that I've sewed myself from scratch.
Yay!
So, that to me is a huge deal because I've never, knit. I have a lot of knits that I can wear outside, but I don't have anything I've sewed.
Yeah.
And then on the knitting part, I want to say right now what's inspiring me is not so much a specific project, but a specific cut or style.
Silhouette?
I want... the next project I'm really interested in, and I've noticed that a few of them are the same. I want something that's boxy and really oversized but boxy fit.
Cute.
So, and I found a few projects that are very much calling my name, and they're all they all have that kind of vibe.
Nice.
So that's where I'm at right now.
Love.
Yeah.
Allie, what about you?
I haven't been inspired by anything this week.
Interesting.
No, and that's okay. That is okay. This last couple of months has been incredibly hectic for me. All good things, mostly.
But hectic nonetheless.
But
hectic.
really hectic, especially with the holidays and traveling and like blah, blah, blah and whatever. And then now this month deciding that I'm really going to like knuckle down on my whips. I haven't really been out there looking. I mean, obviously I see stuff on Instagram, on Ravelry, whatever, but I haven't really been like looking at patterns the way that I normally do because I don't want to get tempted to want to start anything new. So I haven't been inspired because I haven't been looking for inspiration.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm just taking a break from the like so many amazing things coming out because I don't want to do the magpie thing and be like shiny.
Yeah.
That is
So-
so fair.
So right now
Yeah.
I'm focusing on things that are other than knitting. I'm not currently knit inspired, but I know that will change. I have no doubt.
Yeah.
I I've had a little bit of Pinterest time for the first time in a long time. I used to love Pinterest and then I like left it for a long time. And Bilbo has started snoring.
He's like, I've heard this before.
But this week I've been feeling unsatisfied with my closet, so I started taking advice from some creators on Instagram and TikTok that do things like finding your style and dressing for balance and shopping your closet, things that are slow, right? So a person that's inspiring me a lot right now is a creator called Mac Rose.
Okay.
And Mac Rose talks about dressing your body shape not in terms of making yourself seem smaller, but making yourself seem balanced. So one of the things that I'm trying to get into in my Pinterest board for 2025 is finding pictures of people that look like me that are wearing things that I find cute.
Oh,
So
that's
so
interesting.
because what Mac Rose says is if you can either be a person that carries volume at the top, volume at the bottom, or volume throughout. And I'm a person that carries volume throughout. So like my shoulders and my hips are kind of the same width, and there's not a lot of difference between my hip measurement and my bust measurement. So I'm trying to find on Pinterest people that kind of have those proportions and see what they are wearing. And so far what I have found is that they are wearing a lot of vests. So they're wearing flowy sleeves or boxy sleeves and then a knit vest or a tailored vest, and they're pairing, like I'm finding a lot of like inspiration in like big pleated pants, like tailored pleated pants or flowy pants, and skirts that are like just A-line but with an elastic waist.
Right.
So it's looking kind of like a comfy
Swooshy,
hobbity, but also modern.
Okay, yeah.
Love that. Love
Love
that
that,
vibe.
yeah.
Love that aesthetic.
So like that, and a lot of like t-shirts with the long sleeve, not a t-shirt that has a tight sleeve, but a t-shirt with the loose sleeve that comes a little bit lower, and then pairing that with like a harder item like a pair of trousers with a belt. So I'm finding a lot of inspiration, and I'm hoping that I can put together some outfits that incorporate things that I've knit and things that I've sewed,
sure.
that kind of go with those fashion pointers. So yeah, I'm feeling kind of like I want to like redo my entire style closet over
That's
again.
okay. That's okay. That's a great thing to want to do.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And
I
I'm
just want
hoping.
to point out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, finish.
I was gonna say, and I'm hoping that by doing that exercise, it'll point out some knitting gaps in my closet, so that I know what to
make
cast
her.
on
Yeah,
next.
that's fair. I was gonna say, and you mentioned like at the beginning of this, like that it's you coming back to Pinterest now in 2025, and I just want to point out, holy crap, it's 2025. I'm so like I don't understand where time goes. I don't know where it goes. I feel like yesterday was 2004.
Yeah.
So I'm just
Yeah. I saw a video the other day, and it was like songs that are turning 25 this year. And it just like played clips from the music videos of like a whole bunch of them. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no way that was 25 years ago that those came out. And then
they are.
Then it like, I was like, oh yeah, I
no,
was in
no.
elementary school when those songs came out. Oh.
that hurts.
That was a thought.
It's like I saw this video or whatever, and it's like this guy who's talking about like who goes to order beer, and he shows his card, and the lady, like, before he shows his card, the lady's like, you're not. There's no way
you have to be 21
enough
to order a beer.
Yeah, 21. And then essentially he just like shows his card. He's like, I was born in 2000. And then it's just like, no, wait, 2004?
Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah. Essentially he just turned 20 and was like, no. And then the cashier literally like has a meltdown because they're like, oh my God. Like, I can't even.
Oh my God. When I was in undergrad, I worked in a convenience shop, and we sold cigarettes at the convenience shop. They don't anymore. But, and I don't work there anymore. But that was the thing, right? Because, like, the time that I was in school, that would have been, like, the early 2010s. And it was right around the time that I was leaving working there that 2000 was the cutoff. Oh. And it was like, oh, it starts with 19, you're fine. And it was just like, ugh.
That's no longer true.
That's no longer true. Now it's like into the early 2000s.
Yeah.
But I just remember when we flipped over from like, yeah, that sucked. That really sucked. that was a not fun pill to swallow at that time, working there and being like, oh, I can sell to you because you have a 19 on your card.
But at the same time, I just want to say, like, being the oldest here, I just want to say, like, I'm still very grateful that, like, I'm aging. Does that make sense? Yeah. Like, as much as it's we're like, oh my God, I don't want to know that it's been 20 years. But at the same time, I'm still very grateful, and I think we take for granted, because we very much live in a society where it's easy to just want to be young forever. Yeah. And like we glorify that like idea of just always like youth, of trying to stay, especially women, but anybody, right? To like be active and like stay like don't show any signs of aging in any shape or form. Mm-hmm. But like at the same time, there's something so beautiful about aging just naturally or gracefully that to me, like we have to take that into consideration, and just like, you know,
especially in a society where being unmarried and child-free was a bad thing when you reached your 30s.
Oh yeah.
To now be in my 30s and like intentionally choosing to be unmarried and child-free, it's like
Live
a giant fuck you to society, and it just feels so good.
Oh, we are definitely gonna get shadow banned.
Anyway, now I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, my knees hurt, my hips ache, oh, I think I twinged my back last night, did I sleep funny, my neck hurts, hey, should I go get a new tattoo this weekend? Like, that's my thought process in the morning when I wake up now.
And all of those thoughts are valid.
Yeah, I personally love getting older.
I don't know, it's just really it's just really fun older. Like in the morning getting ready and like flipping my hair over and seeing, oh, there's a couple new white hairs in there, and like I'm starting to get crow's feet, like laugh lines around my eyes, and I'm like, I'm starting to look like my grandmother. Like this, it's just like
so cute.
And you know
beautiful little moments of like connectivity with your family too,
and
especially with people who are no longer here with us.
That's true. And if for whatever reason,
I love it.
If for whatever reason you still feel like I don't want to tell my age, or because you don't need to, but like my mom's trick to this day is one of my favorites. When she turned 50, she started to say, I'm 25 with 25 years of experience. And then she just add like 26. And I was like, I thought it was brilliant. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to steal that one day.
Because that's how you feel, right? I feel younger than I am. But not because I want to be younger, but because I have more energy than other people my age. Yeah. And, you know, I'm very privileged. Like Lexi said, aging is a privilege that not everybody has.
Exactly.
And so I am actually really grateful and excited to grow older. Yeah. Also, the older I get, the less fucks I give.
Amen.
Well, I think that just comes with, you know,
the territory.
It's just, you realize just how much your parents and your grandparents have it right when they're like, I just don't care anymore. And it's I get it now.
I was actually reflecting on this. Like, I don't think there's a single hill I'm willing to die on anymore.
Nope.
I have many, but they're like,
I mean,
things that matter, but also
yes,
don't matter.
I do.
There are hills that I'll have an argument about, but I'm not going to die on any hills.
The only hill I die on is if like because I feel very protective of like certain people or my pets. Like that would be the only hill I'm willing to die on. Yeah. Because if I have to defend somebody or someone I
love that
about.
You still have like impetus to do that. I'm like, if the going gets tough, I'm going home.
Yo, okay, no, I have a funny little anecdote for this exact moment. So I over the winter holidays I read both Fourth Wing and Iron Flame.
Yes,
Yarrow's
that's
book
right.
in
Onyx
6
Storm.
days. Anyway, we're preparing for the next book to come out in about 10 days or so. And when I finished the books, I started listening to this in-depth like reread podcast called The Fantasy Fangirls to like just keep my mind engaged with like the content of the books and the storyline and like all the tidbits and details before the next book comes out. And it is so funny. I'm listening to this podcast and like these two women, these two sisters who are the hosts are like so invested in like the theories and what's happening. And the number of times one of them will be like, I am a 33-year-old mother of 2 and this is the hill I'm going to die on. And I just love it so much because the passion with which they are holding on to these opinions and theories, and like they will fully admit that like in the grand scheme of things none of this matter, but it's just like this beautiful amount of like joy and like joie de vivre to have, like about something that theoretically doesn't matter, but like it does.
I love people who are passionate about
it's just
something.
really fun to listen to because like as they're like these are two grown-ass women with lives and responsibilities and everything, and they're like, this is the hill I'm going to die on, this theory or that whatever, and it's just
this is coming along really nicely.
That looks really great.
Yeah. I'm excited.
I think honestly, I
anyway,
agree.
it's great. Love it.
I agree.
So.
I think it's good to have like as long as you don't fall into that category of like where you start to attack people for their opinions. That's where I draw the line.
As long as you're not yucking on anybody's yum, you can enjoy your stuff.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this on because I have it on a 16-inch cable, and I think that.
Yeah, mine is on like I was on
I'm so close. Look at this.
Yay! Look at our whips. Watch us whip. Watch us
It's
nay-nay.
not all the way down on my head where it should be. It's giving Smurf.
I know, right?
A little bit.
It's giving Smurf. I'm
little
here
bit.
for it. Here,
I'm
little
like
bit.
actually living for
Papa
this
Smurf,
color.
because it's red.
If you haven't made an all stockinette in the round hat, I highly recommend. It's so joyful and easy.
Long live the muscle bra train.
Long live the muscle bra.
I think
One day I'll finish mine. One day.
I think this is like my 4th one, maybe.
Oh wow, yeah.
Or you know what? I think this is the 4th one I started, but there were 5 projects because I finished the 5th one as a Christmas gift.
This is my second official one. The first one I made was inspired by the muscle bra, but I didn't have the pattern. I was like, I could probably do that. And I sort of did, but it's a little lumpy. But hey, Gerva loves it, so I'm not going to
that's what
As long as it keeps you warm through these cold Canadian winters.
And I'll tell you my favorite part. The project is the bag.
Yes, this is really the only thing I love about this project is that. Everything else I'm like,
I love it.
So
Look
good.
at that. It's 3 p.m. French, so I really think we should stop yapping, and because it's like honestly, I know it's 3 p.m., but the sun is kind of already going down.
I have 37. Literally, I have 37 things on my to-do list.
I have to go shopping.
So many things.
I have to get Bilbo some food. I have to prep food for the week.
Oh shit. Okay, that's
yeah.
38 things on my to-do list now.
Same.
Meal prep.
Same.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Dang.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you all for watching. We gotta do some errands now, so we're gonna go.
Be semi-responsible
Thanks for being
adults.
here.
Thank you so much for joining us. As
Keep
always,
on knitting and keep on chatting and being all weird and stuff, just like us.
Your weird, authentic self.
Weird, authentic
And
self.
we will see you in 2 weeks on the, what is that, the 25th, 26th of January?
But we will schedule it.
Yeah, we'll schedule it. We'll post about it on Instagram if we remember.
Mm-hmm.
If not, poke us,
And
then
congratulations again to Lexi, the
Yay!
winner. You'll hear from us.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.